Welcome to my channel. Old valuable chiller. The Jefferson nickel has been a small coin with big surprises, and some dates can be worth serious money today. Keep an eye out for the 1939 D Jefferson nickel, especially with strong, sharp details, because low mintage makes it a key date that collectors search for. The 1950 D nickel is another valuable treasure thanks to its lowest production in the series, and clean, well-preserved examples can bring high prices. Don't forget rare varieties like the 1943 P3/2 date era from World War II silver nickels, and the 1942 D horizontal D mint mark variety. Always check your change, coin rolls, and old collections because these nickels can surprise you with unexpected value. Subscribe for more hidden coin gems. First up, the 5-cent coin from the United States, minted in 1974, is one of the most collected Jefferson nickels of the modern era. And today we're diving into everything that makes this coin interesting, valuable, and worth searching for in pocket change, coin rolls, and old collections. If you enjoy learning about U.S. coins, rare nickels, and hidden collectible treasures, stay tuned because we're exploring mintage numbers, metal composition, common and rare varieties, key details that affect value, and real examples of what collectors look for when hunting the 1974 Jefferson nickel. The 1974 Jefferson nickel features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag. Jefferson faces left, and above his head is a word liberty followed by the year 1974. Along the rim, the motto "I and God We Trust" is clearly visible. On the reverse, we see Jefferson's home, Monticello, with E pluribus unum over the top, and the words Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America along the bottom. Even after decades of circulation, this classic design remains recognizable and meaningful to collectors. The composition of the 1974 5-cent coin is a durable blend of 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a weight of 5 grams and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. This composition has remained mostly unchanged for many decades, making the Jefferson nickel a stable and long-running coin series. Collectors appreciate this continuity because it allows comparisons between different mint years, varieties, and conditions across generations of coins. Now let's talk mintage and rarity. In 1974, the United States Mint produced over 500 million Jefferson nickels across 2 major mint locations. The Philadelphia Mint struck well over 600 million coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions more, carrying the small D mint mark to the right of Monticello. These huge mintage numbers mean that 1,974 nickels are common in circulation, but condition, die varieties, and sharpness of strike create opportunities for collectors. Although the majority of circulated examples have low monetary value, finding a sharply struck, high-detail 1974 nickel with strong steps on Monticello can draw attention from collectors because the steps indicate how well the die struck the metal. Collectors are always searching for what are called full steps. On the reverse side, Monticello's staircase has 6 steps, and a nickel with strong, complete steps stands out from ordinary circulation pieces. Most coins from 1974 show weak detail or worn stair lines due to how the dies were made and how the coin circulated. But when the steps are sharp and fully separated, the coin becomes much more desirable. A full-step 1974 nickel can bring in more value compared to a typical worn example, especially if the surfaces are smooth, the fields are clean, the strike is strong, and the details remain crisp. Another reason the 1974 Jefferson nickel gets attention is because collectors hunt for die cracks, die chips, overpolished dies, and other forms of minting characteristics that give a coin unique identity. Coins struck with worn dies may show fading details around the lettering or on Jefferson's hair, while overpolished dies can remove details around Monticello. Die cracks or chips can appear as raised lines or bumps. These aren't errors that happened after the coin was made. They are part of the minting process and help create collectible variety coins. Some collectors enjoy finding these small differences because they tell a story about what was happening on the mint floor when the coin was produced. Let's dig deeper into condition and how it influences value. A typical circulated 1974 nickel with average wear generally holds face value in most cases, but if the coin has minimal circulation wear and strong detail, it becomes more appealing. Coins with luster, smooth fields, and a sharp portrait of Jefferson can trade hands among collectors for premium prices depending on demand. The difference between a common pocket change coin and a collectible nickel is often how crisp the strike is and how much detail remains on the reverse. Focus on the steps of Monticello, the windows, the dome, and the word Monticello itself. Sharp lettering and full steps can turn what seems like an ordinary nickel into something special. Now, here's something many collectors overlook: edge quality and rim detail. Strong rims with raised edges and no flattening can indicate that the coin saw less circulation. Light wear around Jefferson's cheekbone, jawline, and hair often appears first. So when these features remain bold and well-defined, collectors take notice. Coins with original mint luster have a slight shine that reflects light in cartwheel patterns. If you tilt the coin under a single light source and the shine rotates smoothly, that's a sign of preserved luster, which adds desirability. In addition to searching your pocket change, coin roll hunting is one of the best ways to find 1974 nickels worth keeping. Bank rolls often contain older coins that have been sitting in drawers, jars, and piggy banks for decades. Opening roll after roll increases your odds of spotting visually attractive coins or pieces with unique varieties. Some collectors spend hours searching thousands of nickels to find just one coin with full-step detail. The thrill is in the hunt, and the 1974 nickel remains a rewarding target because it still circulates today. Let's talk briefly about maintaining and storing your coins. When you find a nice 1974 nickel, avoid cleaning it because cleaning removes original surfaces and can reduce collector interest. Instead, store it safely in a coin flip, tube, or album where it is protected from moisture and abrasion. Over time, coins are preserved while remain more appealing to collectors, and their potential value stays intact. Even though the 1974 nickel is not considered rare in general circulation, specific coins stand out. Those with mint state shine, clear steps on Monticello, and minimal marks attract collectors who are building Jefferson nickel date runs or trying to fill special variety slots in their collections. Collectors often enjoy assembling full series collections where each year and mint mark combination is included, and finding high-quality examples becomes part of the journey. As we continue our deep dive into this coin, let's emphasize keyword collectors search for: 1974 nickel value, 5-cent coin United States 1974, Jefferson nickel full steps, 1974 D nickel, hidden value coins in pocket change, collectible Jefferson nickels, U.S. nickel varieties, and coin roll hunting finds. These search terms help connect collectors, researchers, and enthusiasts with the information they need when learning about older nickels still circulating today. Next up, the Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it was named after Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. The obverse side of the Jefferson nickel, including the 1969 D 5-cent coin, features a left-facing portrait of Jefferson with the inscriptions Liberty, the year 1969, and the motto In God We Trust. On the reverse side, we see Monticello, Jefferson's home, and inscriptions including E Pluribus Unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The designer of both sides was Felix Schlag, whose design became a long-lasting and iconic image throughout American coinage. When talking about the 1969 D nickel, collectors often focus on how sharply the details of Jefferson's hair, cheek, collar, steps of Monticello, windows, and building lines are struck, because well-struck examples tend to attract stronger collector interest. The 1969 D Jefferson nickel was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark to the right of Monticello on the reverse. The total mintage of the 1969 D 5-cent coin was very high, making it a common coin at first glance. Denver produced hundreds of millions of these nickels, which mean that most examples will appear in circulated condition, showing signs of wear on Jefferson's cheekbone, the hairline details, and most importantly the steps of Monticello. The coin is made of a composition that includes 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the Jefferson nickel its recognizable silver-gray appearance. Even though this alloy contains no precious metal, certain examples of the 1969 D nickel can reach higher values because of condition, errors, and key striking details that make them desirable among collectors who focus on Jefferson nickels and mid-20th century U.S. coins. One of the most discussed features of the Jefferson nickel series is the reverse steps of Monticello. While the 1969 D nickel is not widely known for fully defined steps, collectors still search for examples that show crisp step definition and minimal strike weakness. Sharp steps can increase collector interest because they indicate a strong strike and less wear. Many nickels made during the late 1960s show weak strikes, making strong examples stand out. When you find a 1969D nickel, examine the steps closely under good lighting. Look for clear separation between the step lines and avoid areas where the strike looks flat or merged. Any coin with well-defined architectural details on Monticello will attract more attention, especially if the obverse details such as Jefferson's hairline and cheek contour also remain bold. Collectors also search for errors and varieties that can add value to the 1969D nickel. While the year is not known for major famous varieties like some earlier dates, there are still circulated reports of off-center strikes, clip planches, die cracks, die breaks, filled dies, and late die stage examples that show interesting metal flow lines. Coins with visible die cracks around Jefferson's portrait or near the top dome of Monticello can create unique appeal, and coins struck slightly off-center can become collectible depending on how visible and balanced the off-center design is. Additionally, some collectors look for repunched mint marks or signs of doubling on the inscriptions or building lines. Whenever you find a 1969D nickel in pocket change or coin rolls, take a moment to inspect both sides carefully for anything unusual, especially around the year, lettering, and architectural features. Even though the 1969D nickel is common, finding one in excellent condition today is far more challenging than it seems because most examples have been circulating for decades. Circulation where softens Jefferson's eyebrow, nose bridge, cheek detail, and jawline. On the reverse, the smooth fields in the dome of Monticello lose texture and definition. Coins that avoided circulation or spent only a short time in use can display sharp shine, luster, and smooth surfaces that appeal to collectors who seek attractive mid-century nickels. If you search through bank rolls, inherited coin jars, thrift store coins, or flea market finds, always keep an eye out for bright and sharp examples of the 1969D nickel because high detail makes them more appealing. The market for the 1969D Jefferson nickel remains consistent because Jefferson nickels are a popular series among collectors who enjoy searching through change, coin hunting rolls, and completing date and mint mark sets. The year 1969 sits in a range where the U.S. Mint produced large numbers of nickels, so circulated examples are still found today in everyday pocket change. However, standout examples with strong strikes, fewer contact marks, eye appeal, and unusual errors can sell for higher amounts among collectors who are building refined nickel collections. When talking about coin value, keep in mind that the average circulated 1969D nickel is typically worth face value, but rare examples with strong detail or collectible errors can gain premium interest. Clean, original surfaces without scratches, harsh cleaning, or corrosion remain important because they help maintain natural metal texture and luster. Searching for a 1969D nickel with extra value often begins with patience and attention to detail. Roll hunting is a popular method among coin collectors. Many coin hunters recommend searching through full boxes of nickels, examining each coin with steady lighting, rotating the coin slowly to spot unusual metal texture, step details, or die varieties. You never know when a standout coin might appear. Some coin collectors also enjoy preserving nickels in protective storage to slow environmental wear and preserve their natural appearance for future reference. The Jefferson nickel series continues to grow in popularity for collectors who enjoy long-term searching and building knowledge year by year. The history of the Jefferson nickel reminds us that even ordinary-looking coins hold stories. The 1969D nickel represents a year of American coin production during a time when millions of coins were produced for commerce, but only a few survived with standout quality. Holding a 1969D nickel allows you to touch a piece of history that has traveled through decades of hands, pockets, and transactions. It also reminds collectors that not every coin contains precious metal, yet many coins still hold collectible value based on scarcity and condition, visual appeal, and unique minting characteristics. If you enjoy the search for hidden value in everyday coins, the 1969D Jefferson nickel gives you a reason to keep looking. The world of coins continues to reward those who take the time to inspect small details, learn minting history, and recognize how coins naturally wear over time. Whether you are building a complete Jefferson nickel set, searching for varieties, or collecting interesting coins from circulation, this year and mint mark remains a coin you should not ignore. Keep your eyes open, Check your change, and always pay attention to coins that show stronger detail and unusual characteristics. Next up, to understand what makes the 1938 5-cent coin so interesting, we have to start with a coin that came before it. For more than 2 decades, the United States Mint produced the Buffalo nickel, featuring the Native American portrait on the obverse and the majestic American bison on the reverse. That design began in 1913 and continued all the way through the first half of 1938. But in October of that year, the Mint introduced a brand new design featuring a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his famous home Monticello on the back. This means that in 1938, both the Buffalo nickel and the Jefferson nickel exist, and both versions attract collectors for different reasons. The 1938 Buffalo nickel marks the end of an era, while the 1938 Jefferson nickel marks the beginning of one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The 1938 5-cent coin comes in several varieties that collectors pay attention to. First, there's the 1938 without mint mark, minted in Philadelphia. Then we have the 1938 D nickel from Denver and the 1938 S nickel from San Francisco. Because the Jefferson nickel began production later in the year, mintage numbers are lower than many other years. This lower production makes the 1938 series especially attractive for collectors who want early Jefferson nickels or the final Buffalo nickels. So, when you hear collectors talk about key dates, semi-key dates, or conditional rarities, the 1938 nickels often come up, especially when the coin is found in better-than-average condition. Now let's talk about the design itself. On the Jefferson nickel, the obverse shows the left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence and the third President of the United States. His portrait replaced a Native American profile that had become famous on the Buffalo nickel. The reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's home, with its recognizable dome and pillars. The building design is centered with the word Monticello below and United States of America around the rim. Collectors often examine the strength of the steps on the front of the building. Sharp steps, known as full steps, are highly desirable. A 1938 5-cent coin with sharp details, especially on the steps of Monticello, can be worth far more than average examples. So why do collectors get so excited when talking about the 1938 5-cent coin? First, this was the first year of issue for the Jefferson nickel. Anything that marks the first year of production tends to attract collector interest. Second, the mintage numbers are relatively low compared to later years. The Philadelphia Mint produced just a few million pieces, the Denver Mint produced even fewer, and the San Francisco Mint also produced a limited run. These numbers make the 1938 D coin and the 1938 S coin especially interesting for collectors. Third, coins from this year can still be found with outstanding detail because they were not in circulation for as long as most Buffalo nickels. That means higher-grade coins exist, and high-grade coins attract strong collector demand. Many collectors spend time searching old rolls, jars, and boxes of nickels looking for the 1938 series. While finding them in everyday change is rare today, people do sometimes discover them in mixed coin collections, older estates, or rolls saved by previous generations. Anyone who enjoys coin roll hunting for nickels knows the thrill of pulling out an early Jefferson nickel from the late 1930s or early 1940s. And the 1938 5-cent coin is one that gives that sense of excitement because it connects directly to the beginning of a new design era. Now let's go back to the Buffalo nickel for a moment. The 1938 5-cent coin from the Buffalo design is one of the last strikes of that type. Collectors love it because it represents the closing bookend of a historic series. The American bison featured on the reverse remains one of the most beloved designs ever created for U.S. currency. The Buffalo nickel series experienced heavy circulation, meaning many surviving pieces are well worn. When someone finds a 1938 Buffalo nickel in strong detail with fewer marks and more definition on the horn and hair of the bison, it can attract strong collector interest. So whether someone loves a Native American portrait or Jefferson's portrait, the year 1938 holds importance for both designs. Collectors also pay attention to strike quality, luster, sharpness of detail, and mint mark placement when studying the 1938 series. On the Jefferson nickel, the mint mark appears to the right of Monticello on the reverse for coins made in Denver and San Francisco. Coins without a mint mark were made in Philadelphia. Full step details are a major focus for serious collectors. The more defined the steps, the more valuable the coin can be. A well-struck 1938 nickel with full steps has collector appeal that goes beyond basic numismatic value because it represents the best possible quality from the first year of the design. When someone finds a 1938 nickel with full steps, especially from Denver or San Francisco, that coin becomes even more desirable. Another aspect that coin collectors enjoy discussing is the metal composition. The 1938 nickel contains 75% copper and 25% nickel. This is a traditional composition of United States nickels and remained unchanged except during the wartime silver-nickel years. The weight, diameter, and composition give collectors a strong sense of history when they hold a coin, especially knowing that it looks and feels almost identical to modern nickels, yet dates back nearly a century. The 1938 5-cent coin is also a great entry point for new collectors because it is still possible to find examples in collections without spending a fortune. Many people begin their collecting journey by searching for early Jefferson nickels, and the 1938 date is often one of the first major milestones. Even if someone is not focused on building a complete collection, owning a 1938 nickel connects them to the history of American coinage. Schools, museums, grandparent collections, and even flea markets sometimes feature this date, reminding people how coins can carry stories across time. When you think about the history surrounding 1938, it gives the 5-cent coin even deeper meaning. The United States was recovering from the Great Depression, and changes were happening across society. The coinage transition symbolized modernization. People who used a Jefferson nickel in its early years probably didn't realize how long the design would remain in circulation, lasting for decades with only minor changes. That kind of legacy makes early dates like 1938 more significant. Collectors enjoy taking a magnifying glass to study the portrait, the lettering, and the surface of the coin, checking for strong luster, smooth fields, or early die cracks that add character. Looking closely at Monticello and the steps brings out details that casual observers often miss. Holding a 1938 nickel makes you feel connected to generations of American history, giving you a direct link to life over 80 years ago. Some people ask if their 1938 nickel could be worth more if it shows unusually strong detail or has a unique appearance. The 5-cent coin from 1940 United States continues to attract coin collectors, numismatic researchers, and history lovers because it represents an important time in American history and the development of the Jefferson nickel design. In this video, we explore the full story of the 1940 Jefferson nickel, why this coin matters to collectors today, what makes the 1940 nickel valuable, how many were minted, the mint mark details, condition factors, metal composition, errors to search for, and interesting facts that can help you identify a valuable 1940 nickel in your collection. Stay until the end because throughout this script we will uncover premium details and widely searched information that can help increase your knowledge about this classic American 5-cent coin. The 1940 Jefferson nickel features the third full production year of the Jefferson design, first introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. The obverse shows a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. The word liberty appears alongside the year 1940, followed by the traditional motto, "In God We Trust." On the reverse, the famous Monticello building is displayed, Jefferson's Virginia home, with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. These inscriptions make the coin recognizable and iconic, building strong search interest of collectors seeking valuable Jefferson nickels. The 1940 nickel was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. The Philadelphia issue is the most common because it had the highest mintage, making it widely available today. The Denver and San Francisco issues are still common but less plentiful, and many collectors today prefer mint mark coins, especially coins that retain original detail or display sharp strike quality. Understanding mint marks is essential when identifying coins that carry more collector value, and search terms such as 1940 nickel D mint value, 1940 nickel S mint value, and 1940 nickel rare errors continue trending on coin collecting platforms. When studying the 1940 nickel for value, the first detail to check is a condition. A coin with full steps on Monticello, strong hair detail on Jefferson, and minimal circulation where is more desirable than a worn example. Coins showing clear steps on Monticello can be harder to find because the striking pressure used in early Jefferson nickels often resulted in weakly defined steps. Collectors often look for crisp detail, smooth fields, and full rims to identify coins that hold the strongest demand in today's market. While lightly circulated examples are common, coins with sharp design elements stand out and can bring more interest from collectors. The metal composition of the 1940 nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel, the same standard alloy used in most Jefferson nickels except during World War II when nickel was removed from the alloy to save metal for wartime production. That means the 1940 nickel does not contain silver, but its historical value and collector appeal remains strong due to age, design, and collectible mint varieties. Because the coin predates wartime metal changes, it represents the classic composition and original look of the Jefferson nickel series. A common question many collectors ask is whether the 1940 nickel is rare. In circulated condition, this coin is generally common because millions were struck, but finding coins with sharp detail, attractive surfaces, and minimal wear is less common. Many nickels from the early years of the series display worn high points, dull luster, and scratches from decades of handling, so collectors searching for better examples focus on shine, detail, and clarity of lettering. The Philadelphia coin is the easiest to locate, while interest grows for Denver and San Francisco pieces in higher quality. The S mint mark coins often show weaker strikes, making sharply defined step details harder to find. Another factor that increases collector interest is the search for errors. The 1940 nickel has several collectible error varieties that can increase value and demand. Among the most desirable errors are off-center strikes where the design is noticeably shifted, clipped planchette coins where a portion of the metal blank is missing, and double die varieties where lettering or details appear doubled. Double die examples can appear on the motto, date, or Monticello design elements. Lamination errors caused by improper metal alloy bonding can also be found, creating raised or peeling metal surfaces that collectors sometimes find fascinating. Even subtle die cracks connecting letters or stretching across the coin can bring interest. Searching for 1940 nickel errors continues to be a highly searched topic online because error collecting has grown rapidly in recent years. Collectors also pay attention to luster and toning. A bright, original silver-gray luster may attract collectors who prefer classic brilliance, while rainbow toning or unique color patterns may appeal to collectors who enjoy eye-catching visual effects. Although toning does not guarantee value, attractive natural toning can increase demand. When examining toning, collectors look for original surfaces that show age but not damage, since cleaning can lower collector interest significantly. For the 1940 nickel, natural patina can form over decades, giving coins a unique character that helps them stand out. Studying circulation patterns of the 1940 nickel gives insight into why many coins from this year show moderate to heavy wear. These coins circulated during World War II and the years leading up to America's involvement, passing through millions of hands in an era of economic recovery and wartime preparation. Where marks commonly appear on Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline, while Monticello steps flatten quickly from circulation friction. Coins with heavy circulation still hold historical interest, but coins with minimal wear bring stronger attention for long-term collection building. When searching through pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited coin collections, finding a 1940 nickel can be exciting because it connects you with a piece of American numismatic history more than 80 years old. Roll hunting continues a trend among coin enthusiasts because collectors enjoy searching through circulated rolls of nickels to uncover older coins, mint mark varieties, and errors. Although many 1940 nickels have been removed from circulation by collectors, discoveries still occur today, especially from older family coin jars and estate boxes where early Jefferson nickels may have been saved without the owner realizing their full collector interest. The 1940 nickel continues to draw attention across online platforms because it balances affordability with collectible significance. Beginning collectors appreciate that the coin is accessible, while advanced collectors hunt for high-quality examples with strong detail and unique characteristics. Search trends show strong interest in key topics like 1940 nickel full steps, 1940 nickel mint mark varieties, 1940 nickel rares, and 1940 nickel value in today's market. These search patterns show that this coin remains an important part of the Jefferson nickel series, especially for collectors looking to build complete sets.